With no signs of the crisis between Russia and Ukraine easing, Ukrainian soldiers step up operations near the annexed Crimean peninsula.
Well, we're now on alert mode, digging trenches. It's important for our safety.
There's also new urgency to the training at Densa military base in Ukraine, where President Petro Poroshenko has been inspecting the troops.
We'll give Russia no chance to invade Ukraine. That's why we are doing everything possible to provide extra financing for the armed forces.
The president urged NATO to help by sending ships to the Sea of Azov, but that's difficult for NATO considering Ukraine is not a member. It's also wary it may provoke Russia to take more military action. While the EU has decided not to immediately increase sanctions on Russia, European leaders have promised to apply pressure on Moscow.
I will raise the issue with the Russian president at the G20 meeting. We've been asked by the Ukrainian side to be wise, because we know that we can only solve things in a reasonable way and through discussion, since there is no military solution to these disputes.
While the waters of the Kerch Strait may look calm, Ukraine says its ports are effectively under blockade, claiming Russia is only granting entry to vessels heading to Russian docks. It all follows Russia's seizure of 3 Ukrainian Navy ships in their cruise on Sunday. Moscow says the ships entered Russian waters illegally, a claim Ukraine rejects. But this is just the latest incident in the ongoing crisis between the two countries after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. An armed conflict in eastern Ukraine between government forces and Russian-backed separatists also adds to the tension. While NATO may not be providing the military support Ukraine wants, for several years it has been intensifying its war games in member countries that border Russia. Moscow has responded by also staging its biggest military exercises since the Cold War.
It was Russia in the 90s that retreated from Central and Eastern Europe. The lost Soviet troops left the former East Germany in 1994. After that, NATO expanded further and further east. So it's not a chicken and egg argument. It's a clear sequence of events where one thing happened first and another thing happened second. So while for the wider peace of the region, any big provocations, including war games, aren't necessarily an ideal situation. There is a clear timeline of who was the initiator and who was the reactive power.
As leaders around the world try to de-escalate the situation, Russia has deployed a new battalion of S-400 missile systems to Crimea, a sign that an easing of this conflict is some way off. Sarah Morris, TRT World.